Yeah, woo. Recording is hard, man.
Yeah. So how's your week?
I've been pretty good. It's, our dog found out he can remove a rug in the bathroom, or the carpet. So I walked in there and there was pieces of carpet on the floor in the bathroom. And I saw the dog stare at me, and he just tilted his head and was going like, I did it. What are you going to do about that?
See, you should record this stuff on your phone, just because like I see these types of videos get like thousands of views on Twitter and stuff.
Dog shaming?
Yeah, or just on Facebook, somebody will post like like one of those videos with a caption of "Look at what he did," like instantly a million views.
I think some politicians that walk around doing that. I jest.
So I guess we should get started then?
Most certainly.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Monkey Bar, everybody. This is our second episode. It's been about 2 weeks since our last one. I've been thinking about doing this once every week, because as you may have noticed maybe in the video you're watching right now, the limited animation, it's probably not gonna be any animation though in this video, because we were going to record last week, but I forgot to bring half of my equipment. So it was kind of a shit show that day, but we're back now, and I have about a couple days to edit this. So I'm just going to leave it as it is right now.
All right.
Today's topic is hold on. My phone's ringing right now, so I probably should have shut that off before. Okay, that's Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim?
Yeah, obviously based on the background, because I don't know if you saw it beforehand, but...
the original Pacific Rim?
Or never mind, because I shared it on this Discord. But anyway, last week... Was it a week ago? No, not last weekend, but the weekend before. Yeah. We went to see Pacific Rim on opening weekend. Actually, let's talk about the plot first before we talk about what we thought about it. The plot centers around John Boyega playing a guy who steals things. He goes into a scrapyard because he thinks that he can find this power core.
The plasma cartridge.
Yeah, the super ultra Hyperion core thing, whatever. But somebody already steals it by the time he leads the gangster guys there. He chases after the girl, and we already know it's a girl, but even before she steals it, we know it's going to be some spunky young girl who is a techno whiz.
Gonna stick it to the man.
Yeah, or just the whole techno whiz prodigy thing that's been done to death. What do you remember what her name is?
Amara.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
Because I couldn't remember her name, and I was calling her Asuka. Because that's basically her character, except toned down a lot.
It's more like the love child if Asuka Langley Soryu got put into a vat with excess Shinji Ikari genes. Because they're shy and not sure what to do, but I will fight you with my superior knowledge.
Yeah. But yeah, both of them get roped into the Jaeger program, the giant robots. For some reason, the Jaeger program is still around, despite the rift getting closed. That was probably the most baffling scene, was where they're rolling around in the Sonic the Hedgehog robot, and then the giant Jaeger just is like, "Hey, stop doing that!" And it's like, how are you supposed to catch this thing with how are you supposed to stop any crimes with a giant fucking robot?
I think it's with "Halt, criminal scum! Hand me that purse!" No! Oh crap! I killed 6 people.
Yes, with my big toe. Yeah. As you can probably tell by now, we weren't really fans of this sequel.
Yeah, I like some parts of it. Usually, when there's nobody talking, is when the movie shines the best.
Yeah. I was thinking about this on the way over here. Is that this and the previous movie, they did better with world building than they did with their character writing.
It's an interesting world.
Yeah. I kind of liked in the beginning how John Boyega, or Jake Pentecost, as his character name was basically living in a ruined out town and trading scraps for groceries and sriracha sauce
and Oreos. They had to put the Oreos in there.
Yeah. That was the only product placement I caught. There was probably some more that I was missing.
They had that cereal that they kept, like, hey, I'm going to shake it while showing the front of it to the camera.
Yeah. I mean, I was probably just paying half attention, so that's probably why some of it was lost on me. But it was generally worse than the first one.
I liked the action things, but story-wise, it was like a mismatch of every super robot thing ever.
Yeah. One way I would use to describe it is that it felt like 3 episodes of a TV show or a Saturday morning cartoon smushed into one feature-length movie.
It felt like when they take a miniseries and they cut it down and for like, oh, this is 4 hours, let's make it 1 hour and 27 minutes. However long it was.
Yeah. I think it was 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It felt like it. Well, that's why I thought it felt like 3 episodes of a TV show, because it didn't feel that long, but it didn't feel like there was enough substance there.
It's sort of the opposite of my problem with Valerian, because Valerian, I couldn't tell what arc we were in. Usually, if you can tell beginning, middle, end, and it was like, what? Now, this one, it's still kind of going what, but it's kind of directionless at times.
Yeah. Like I said, 3 different episodes stitched together. I thought it was more visually interesting than the first one.
It was.
A lot of critics complained about that. All the fights were in daytime in this one, whereas the first one it was mostly dark and raining. I actually didn't like that about the first one. I thought it did conceal the CGI better, but it wasn't all that visually interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked the fights, but everything else in the film wasn't that okay.
It's on the first one.
Actually, the first one I didn't even like the fights.
Right, you said you don't remember anything about it.
I remember one thing, watching it, and then disappointment. You could tell me that there was a unicorn in the middle of it, and I wouldn't know.
Well, I know I told you last week I was making up a scene where...
Yeah.
For those of you not in the know, I was telling Zach about how... in the training scene, there's a scene where the main guy is fighting Mako Mori, and then she gets the upper hand, and then she squishes her toes in his face, and for an extended period of time. And I was just making that shit up, and you believed it.
And then I realized we were talking about Quentin Tarantino on the day we watched the sequel. Yeah. And I had Quentin Tarantino on the brain.
Yeah. It had a goofy tone, too.
Yeah, it was. At some parts it was, this is apocalyptic. Oh no, the mass-produced Jaegers are coming. And then, look, I'm putting sprinkles. Look at my toppings. I am aggressively putting toppings.
Or you see the flashback of Asuka's parents getting smushed between the toes of a giant monster.
It really needed a dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, it just, the timing just felt cartoony.
I was kind of hoping that the foot would rock back and forth, and it looks up and you hear the monster go, ugh, and wipe it on the sidewalk.
Yeah. But yeah, would you describe it as tone deaf?
Actually, yeah. Or I think it was being rewritten to be more humorous, and then the rewrites didn't really mesh well. It reminds me of when that happens with say, can't think of any examples, better not start that one, but I think there may have been some rewrites to make it more humorous and catchy.
That makes sense considering that the last movie was 5 years ago. Yeah. This might have been kicking around in a producer's trash bin for a while. I mean, probably not in the trash bin, but because the first one made a lot of money overseas.
I like to imagine that he just had, on his computer, he had all the Word docs up, and he had that Word doc in the bottom right corner. And finally, hand me some brandy, I'm going to finish this.
Yeah, you could tell that this movie was, the last movie was both marketed toward China. Because you had, the predominantly Chinese cast, Asian locales.
Yeah, I notice a lot of films because China is one of the biggest markets been doing pandering to that. Yeah.
Which is surprising why they had John Boyega as the main lead, because China just hates black people. That's not me being racist, that's just the truth.
Yeah, it's even affected Jurassic World, because they're putting Chinese dinosaurs all over that shit, yeah. Sorry.
They're Chinese dinosaurs?
Yeah, Sinoceratops.
Are their eyes smaller?
No, but they make really good merchandise for half price. I apologize to all of China.
We should cut that out. We're not going to cut that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of dinosaurs, what did you think of the designs of the monsters?
I dig them. That was one part of a movie I liked, was you can kind of recognize that they're going after certain, like, the cliches, like the big bruiser or the giant ape, and they still made them look alien, but they made sense.
Yeah, that was pretty much the only memorable part of the fight scenes for me. Well, the most memorable part was when all like 3 giant monsters fused into the super mega kaiju monster.
I would have killed if they referenced, like, it's a Type 2 Baragon, or, you know, for those who don't know, there was a Godzilla game on the SNES where the final monsters basically did a Kamikaze super fusion, or whatever you call it. And it was kind of awesome. It was like a totem pole with teeth.
Yeah, like part of that scene kind of confused me because it shows Charlie opening the gates and like all the tiny monsters start swarming out. I thought where the direction they were going was that the tiny monsters were going to gang up on the giant monsters, and then they would have to use a different strategy to like shake the tiny monsters off and like keep them from getting into the circuitry and everything. But it's like, nope, we're just gonna go around you. And
what I would have done is like make they start like fusing each other, and they make like a giant beetle or just giant ball.
Yeah.
I do have to admit there was a monster named Raiju, and that's just. See, it's not kaiju, it's Raiju.
Did they mention that in the movie?
They call him Raiju. That's actually one of the names they use.
That sounds familiar, but...
I was paying attention to the screen more than the man talking. Or, yeah.
Yeah, but we probably should have mentioned spoilers, but...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much obvious by now.
Wait. There's a monster named Raiju. You completely ruined the movie for me.
What did you think of the effects?
I like them. They're not as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned, how in the first movie there's a lot of rain and dark to make the robots look more realistic. Yeah. In this movie, it's impressive because most of the effects are in daytime, and the robots still look really good. Yeah,
even the monsters look cool if they're bioluminescence, and they really can make this gray drab thing look cool with all the blue.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, the writing is where it really suffered.
Oh yeah, like
But the part where the rogue Jaeger attacks for the first time, what's his name?
Obsidian Vengeance
Fury. Yeah, well, either or. Like, it doesn't really matter. I thought that he was supposed to be a drone at first.
He was.
Well, yeah, but I thought that the characters were under the impression that a rogue pilot was inside, because that was the big plot reveal. Was that once they beat Obsidian and like they rip out the cockpit, they find that there's a kaiju brain in there.
Dun dun dun.
So I wasn't sure at that point whether, because I don't know if they mentioned if they were trying to because I thought there was a line saying, "No, pilot, step down," but I still under the impression that it was a drone, which made me confused when they said, we're gonna start production on the drones. I'm like, didn't a drone just fucking blow the shit out of everything? Wasn't that a little bit of a bad PR move?
It was trying to do what I think was like, it's trying to make it a mystery, like, who is this mysterious pilot? And they tried layering it, and the layers didn't go through because you knew the twist. It would be like watching Jurassic Park and the Velociraptor is holding the door. Yeah, I keep doing hand motions, I'm sorry.
It'd be more like you're watching The Sixth Sense, and then like 10 minutes in, and Bruce Willis says, "Oh, I'm a ghost, by the way."
Pretty much.
Oh, spoilers.
Man, we're spoiling everything here today.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, characters. Like you thought. I think you said something about the girl who dies in the helicopter crash.
I thought she came back. It may have been Mako Mori or...
Yeah, that was Mako.
Oh, cool. They had the same haircut almost, I thought. Or like it was her and she survived and they kept her in secret. Yeah. I was like, wait, didn't she die? And then went, oh. And then they had it... I don't remember the characters' names besides Jake and Amara fuck. That's how he said all the time.
Yeah, that and... Yeah, I think... Yeah, you're right. Because I keep calling Charlie Day's character just Charlie. Because that's what I know him from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, or the one here that I do remember and I really liked was Gottlieb or Gottlieb.
Yeah,
the crazy German scientist.
Yeah, his partner. Yeah.
I like to imagine in these movies, like, there's this school of, like, a university in Germany where we just have mad scientists.
Yeah. This movie really would have been better as a cartoon or an anime.
Oh, if it was, like, a series, like, maybe have City and Avenger show up near the end of every episode and they build a mystery, right? So going, is he a pilot? Wink, wink. Oh, no.
The Racer X of the series.
Kind of. Yeah, actually, that's very apropos.
Did you ever watch Speed Racer?
To be honest, I only watched it after I watched the live-action movie.
Oh. Live-action movie was good.
It was, but at the same time, I got motion sick during it.
Yeah, I can see that. The Wachowskis directed.
I know. It's one of their better films, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Besides motion sickness, I like the colors, and I like the chimpanzee.
Yeah. And there were a few moments that I thought were like a little too Spy Kids for me.
Hey, at least there was a better effect than goddamn George from Rampage.
Oh yeah, digging up that fresh wound. What really else can you say about Pacific Rim though?
I can say that you've really screwed up on your monster movie when you make the monsters in the movie very unmemorable. Like, I should have watched Pacific Rim before I watched the second one. And it wasn't on Netflix when I was checking. So I said, you know what? I think I remember enough. And I kept looking at you like, what's happening? Who's that? Who's Pentecost? Wait, there was a portal near me. I remember the portal and they blew them up. And that's why I got confused when they had Gypsy Avenger. Because what I found out was I was talking to one of my friends on Discord. He goes, oh yeah. Gypsy Danger's dead. It's Gypsy Avenger now. Which is kind of weird because they say, oh, we can't rebuild the special engine we gave Gypsy Danger. Oh, but look, we have another Gypsy Danger.
Yeah, that was kind of throwing me off because they look just identical.
I think the colors are different. You could just say, oh, they just took the CG model and changed the color.
It's palette swap. Yeah. We might as well bring up last note is the Trollolo scene.
I believe you would be better at telling this than I.
All right, so to recap, we were driving on the way to the theater. We were talking about, I think it was Final Fantasy 15, and how one of the characters' names is Gladio, and I sort of spun off into to the Trollolo song, Gladio, and then in the movie, right near the end of right near the climax, when they're flying off to fight the kaiju for the last time. One of the guys just plays that exact video, and you just laugh at a frequency that just hurt, just punctured my eardrums. It was like a bullhorn, ah! I mean that probably just blew out my speakers too. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry because I was so uninterested in the film at that point. I was starting to drift away. I got caught off guard.
And so, in addition to being tone deaf, I was then, literally deaf, yes. So, Zach, would you recommend Pacific Rim Uprising Revengeance?
If you really, really like Pacific Rim, give it a watch. If you like your kaiju movies that are good, I'd rent it.
Yeah. I would wait until this comes on to Netflix. If you're not a fan of Pacific Rim, if you didn't like the first one, I would say skip it.
Yeah. And you know there's going to be part 3, Pacific Rim 3 Downfall.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's probably I would bet money that's what the subtitle is going to be.
Or if they really want to go get the battle for the antiverse.
Or say it has to be one word, and so it'd be Undertow or.
Ooh, that'd be a good one actually.
Moving on to We're about 20 minutes in. But moving on to different subjects. Just to give context, the last episode we ended around the 15-minute mark because I accidentally clicked stop on my recorder, so that cut our episode short. But yeah, we intend to, for each of these episodes, cover at least two subjects. One in the giant monsters category and one in the traditional monsters category, more or less. So, like last episode, we talked a little bit about Hellboy. Actually, Shape of Water.
Yeah.
You want to just discuss that again?
Yeah.
So you saw The Shape of Water, last month?
No, I saw it when it came out, actually.
Okay.
I don't remember when it came out, about 2 or 3 months ago.
Right.
I liked it. It is about the closest I'll ever watch to an art film. I, however, the entire time watching it was going like, this is just Abe Sapien's origin story. It was like when they do one of those, Buried Alien from Marvel Comics, when they killed off Barry Allen as Flash and he showed up in Marvel a couple times.
I'm not familiar with that.
That actually happened, but because they couldn't use the name, they called him Buried Alien. It sounds like Barry Allen. It was like that. I was just waiting for we're gonna have a kid.
Maybe they should call him just Airy Balin.
Ooh, that's that one's a good thing. And there's no way you can go about without thinking about Hellboy or the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good film. I watched it. I enjoyed it.
And you recommend it?
Very much so.
Yeah. I didn't see it. I'm kicking myself for not having seen it though. Because, now that's an Oscar winner. I don't really care about Oscar winners. But yeah, it seems visually interesting from the trailers. I thought it was I don't know. I'll just wait until it comes here to the library and rent it or something. But yeah, we did talk about Hellboy.
And I got to see Dan Haggerty. Is that his name is Hellboy?
No.
Who's Dan Haggerty?
No, that's
different guy.
It's Grizzly Adams, I think.
The guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah. Hopper. That's his character. But that's David Harbour.
Harbour. Man, I really missed it on that one.
But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic for the reboot.
As am I. It sounds like they're gonna do a younger Hellboy, call him Heck Kid.
No swearing on my Christian server.
We will still allow discussion of Hellboy, just no swearing.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we said all we need to say about that.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk about, this is probably going to come out right out of left field for both you and the listeners, is this webcomic that I heard about years ago. Back in 2013 is when it started. And it was a project started by this blogger that I used to follow. And I still follow him on and off. But it was called Kill Everything. And it's still going on to this day. It's an interesting concept in that it's... the script is largely the same because it's all written by one guy, but it's sort of a community project where artists from people that he knows and people who get wind of this project can opt to illustrate one page or as many pages as they sign on to illustrate. And it's interesting to see all these different styles collude into one project. And the way that this relates to monsters is that the main character is a werewolf woman who enters this sort of gladiatorial combat to the death against all these disgusting monsters. And it's it has just gratuitous violence, gratuitous nudity. It's the craziest. So
it's like Monster Girl Encyclopedia versus the Monster Manual from Dungeons and Dragons.
I want to say it's more like Running Man in that sense. It has more of that style of that sort of world where the rich and powerful have the the weak but physically able just to beat the crap out of each other for money.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I'll look into it. Kill everything?
Yeah, Kill Everything. It's on Tumblr, I think. I think it's just killeverythingcomic.tumblr. I'll send you the link. I'll probably post the link in the description. But yeah, it's something that I've considered throwing my hat into because I've been trying to improve as an artist and trying to get my own comic off the ground. So
I see.
Yeah, they don't pay for. I mean, if they seek out an artist for this, then I think that they've offered them like commission money for that. But for the most part, it's more just by volunteer.
I can respect that sort of thing.
Yeah. It is a very, like, the reason that I'm so interested in this is because the writing is really quirky and oddball, borderline South Park at times. But it's cohesive enough to keep your attention.
I see.
I mean, depending on, I mean, the art tends to fluctuate from, like, really, I wouldn't say professional, but, like, done by professionals.
Like top tier?
Not top tier, but like if you had a professional artist working on this, then they'd probably give like half their effort because they're not getting paid. But even that's still like pretty good quality. Then you have people who just do it in not Microsoft Paint, but it's very like sketchy.
I kind of like sketchy if it's done right.
Yeah.
I'm a sketchy kind of guy.
But yeah, I would recommend checking it out. It's one of the more creative projects I've seen related to webcomics as of lately.
Yeah, I admit I've fallen behind in webcomics. The last one I was reading was a dinosaur one called Darby, something like that. And it basically is super bright colors, paleo art, and then they have a dinosaur go, holy crap! Yeah. On another note, hey, on the 30th, we get Rampage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm probably not going to go see it. Unless somebody drags me to go see it. So that's kind of the same attitude I have towards Ready Player One. Is that like where it's not a boycott, but sort of a soft boycott. I just realized what that sounded like saying out loud.
I have to say this. Ready Player One to me is on the same scale of what to watch as Sherlock Gnomes and they're still playing Ready Player One here.
Yeah, I heard it's not that bad. The writing is bad, but the visuals are interesting. So it has the same problem as Avatar.
Yeah, my thing is you have to tell a story, not just hey, remember this movie? Remember the 80s? I like the 80s.
And I think that Ready Player One is still relevant to the podcast because it has Chucky in it.
Oh, and they have the Jurassic Park T-Rex.
Yeah. Also, there's a cat girl with big boobs in the bar scene. It was pointed out to me by one of the guys I follow on Twitter.
I'm slightly interested, but I'm kidding.
Yeah. What do you mean only slightly? But I think that about wraps it up for today. All right. Oh yeah, one more thing is that I would like to. This is a thing that we tried last time, but it also didn't get picked up in the recording. I think it's in my backpack here.
We have to make it relevant, man.
The Monster Girl Encyclopedia. I don't think I'm gonna do the voice this time. I mean, for those of you at home, I tried doing like a John Lovett style voice last time, and it just kind of. I don't know. It just came out kind of cringy.
You're holding it like a sacred tome.
Oh, yes.
Like
it is really well. It is really well bound. It's got this really nice hardcover, very sleek, very sturdy. That's something that I always look for in like when I'm buying a physical book. I'm sort of rambling because none of that really makes sense. Yeah.
I have a really Christian aunt who I can't wait till she checks this out.
All right, so on the subject of werewolves, this is from the Monster Girl Encyclopedia. Volume 1, The Werewolf. The werewolf is a beast man with wolf characteristics. They live in a pack and are intelligent but violent, using their strong legs and unimaginable stamina to run about for. I'm gonna give me a minute. their unimaginable stamina to run about forces. God damn it. When a werewolf finds a man she likes, she unleashes her... I'm getting the vapors. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this without whipping out my dick and jerking off. When a werewolf finds a man she likes, she unleashes her base desire upon him. Her style of copulation is wolf-like and bestial in its violence. True to her raging desire howling within her, she slams her hips against the man relentlessly. That's how sex works, I guess. Considering that her stamina far exceeds that of humans, it goes without saying, of course, that one or two couplings, that means fucking, will not be enough to satisfy her. A man caught by a werewolf can expect to release his essence, his semen, otherwise known, essence, into her again, and again, and again, until her seemingly insatiable need has been met. It should also be noted that, as wild werewolves live in packs, if one fancies a man enough to bring him into the pack, he will inevitably have to face a large number of monsters who will rape him. What? Yeah, that's what that says, okay. Rape him one after the other every night. When werewolves enter heat, they become even more aggressive and, according to reports, may encroach upon human settlements in search of human men. The bodies of werewolves in heat throb constantly with longing for a man's seed, and they obey that longing by mating day and night. It is thought that this itch continues unabated until the period of heat ends where the werewolf conceives. With all this in mind, there could be no doubt that werewolves are quite savage monsters. Oh, really? However, there are cases in which a werewolf comes to recognize a man as above her. For example, if he defeats her, or if she falls deeply in love with him. In such cases, the werewolf becomes extremely loyal to the man she has acknowledged as her master. When mating, she becomes like a fawning dog as she begs for his seed so that she can bear his child. A man who overcomes a number of werewolves can become the alpha of the pack. All the werewolves in the pack then come seeking his sex so they can bear his children. Thus he must be prepared to humor... Yeah, that's the right word. What the hell? To humor them all as they slink up to him to mate. A werewolf may attack and bite a human woman. The werewolf's mana enters through the wound and the woman herself becomes a werewolf. Formerly human women who have become werewolves tend to be gentler than monsters who have been werewolves from birth. They recognize their original family and lovers as their pack mates and masters and may continue to live with them. However, there are two issues that would be considered problematic. First, they bite any women in their families and turn them into werewolves as well. Second, like werewolves from birth, they exhibit powerful carnal desire for men they consider their husbands, causing them to go into heat and seek his seed. Because these women are originally human, it is more difficult for them to control their animal urges. Thus, their new masters may find themselves with unexpected carnal duties demanded of them by beasts with libidos several times what they had.
Amen. You're reading that like a Bible thing.
It's very informative. It's I would dare say educational.
We're an educational podcast, let it be known.
Yeah, like stretching the definition of monster podcast, we also have to stretch the definition of educational. We can probably tag this podcast as educational at this point now. I'm so informed. Okay, so I think that about wraps it up.
I think so as well.
I've been Tony.
I'm Zach.
And this has been The Monkey Bar.